Hello, Detroit Lions fans. It's time for another very important update that will surprise even the oldest fans. Before continuing, click the subscribe and like button to strengthen the channel. This helps us a lot to continue bringing direct, quality, and always updated content about the Lions. Thanks for your like, and let's get to the news. Let's start with a possible trade between Browns and Lions. Stay until the end, and there's more information to follow. A trade proposal that could completely shake up the NFL's backstage is gaining momentum. Shedeur Sanders, son of the legend Deion Sanders and one of the most media-savvy figures in college football, could be on his way to the Detroit Lions. That's right! The Cleveland Browns, who surprised everyone by selecting Shedeur in the 5th round of the 2025 draft, pick number 144 to be precise, are reportedly considering a trade with the Detroit Lions that would involve Hendon Hooker and a 5th round pick in 2026, a bold proposal that could directly affect the future of the Michigan franchise. Let's go back a bit. Before the draft, Shedeur's name was mentioned as a sure thing for the first day. Experts projected that he would go among the top 10 picks with the potential to become an immediate starter in the NFL. But the free fall until the 3rd day of the draft was one of the most talked about shocks of the event. And now he finds himself in a crowded quarterback room in Cleveland alongside veterans Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco, as well as fellow rookie Dillon Gabriel. The situation is simple. If Sanders can't overcome this competition, his market value could drop even further, and the Browns know it. That's why a trade now, while his name is still hot, could be a strategic move. Heavy Sports and Erickson released a proposal that's been buzzing around the scene. Detroit gets Shedeur Sanders, while Cleveland gets Hendon Hooker and a 5th round pick in 2026. For the Lions, who have a good number of future picks, giving up a 5th round pick wouldn't do much harm, especially considering Sanders' very high ceiling. He could be the natural successor to Jared Goff, and with his mobile style of play and powerful arm, bring new dynamism to Detroit's offense. Hooker, on the other hand, although a promising name, still seems to need more development time. Something that the Browns could perhaps offer more slowly. But there are controversies. For the Browns, giving up Sanders so soon might seem hasty. After all, we're talking about a quarterback with pedigree, media appeal, and a very high technical ceiling. Even with the internal competition, keeping him on the roster could pay off. Better in the long run than a late draft pick and an unproven quarterback. However, there's also the idea that Hooker could benefit from an environment where there's less pressure and more time to hone his game. Something that could be tough in Detroit, where the focus is on winning now. Ultimately, this is one of those trades that makes fans' eyes light up and executives scratch their heads. Trading 2 young quarterbacks is always a high-risk gamble, but one that could pay dividends if calculated well. Seeing Shedeur Sanders molded behind Jared Goff, with Dan Campbell leading the team and Ben Johnson running the offense, would be nothing short of fascinating. A story with the potential to become a franchise, a documentary, and, who knows, a winning era for the Lions. If it happens, there's no doubt about it. This will be one of the most talked about trades of the next decade in the NFL. The NFL market continues to heat up, and the name of Trey Hendrickson, a sack machine and dominant presence on the Bengals' defensive line, continues to generate intense debate behind the scenes. And there is a team that is getting closer and closer to making a move. Yes, we are talking about the Detroit Lions, who continue to be considered one of the big favorites to close a deal for the all-pro defensive end. The Detroit franchise, which has already made noise this offseason with bold moves, now seems willing to take the final step to elevate its defense to a new level. And this could involve a proposal considered one of the most intelligent and advantageous in the league so far, according to ESPN analysts. But why is Hendrickson available? The truth is that the situation in Cincinnati is getting complicated. While the pass rusher is asking for a new contract that is worthy of what he delivers on the field, and believe me, he delivers a lot, the Bengals have already opened their coffers to renew Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, 2 pillars of the offense. With the payroll getting tight, the team's management may end up being forced to part ways with Hendrickson. even though he's still playing at a high level. And that's where Detroit comes in, ready to act with cunning and aggression. betting everything to build a dominant defense alongside names like Aiden Hutchinson. According to a recent article by ESPN, which analyzed the most likely destinations for big names like Kirk Cousins, Jalen Ramsey, and Hendrickson himself, a proposal made by Ben Solak, a respected analyst in the field, caught the attention and was considered the best offer in the entire scenario. Solak's idea? Send a second-round pick in 2026 and a conditional fourth-round pick in 2027, which could become a third-rounder depending on performance, in exchange for Hendrickson, and a fifth-round pick also in 2026. A bold but surgical move, especially considering the impact Hendrickson could have on the Lions' defensive rotation immediately. And there's more. According to Ben Baby, a columnist specializing in the Bengals, this trade would not only make financial sense for Cincinnati, but would also represent a strategic victory. After all, by trading Hendrickson to an NFC team, the Bengals avoid reinforcing direct rivals in the conference, such as the Buffalo Bills. Furthermore, if the Lions offer a contract in the range of $90 million for 3 years, they would be paying less, for example, than what the Texans gave to Danielle Hunter, who received an average annual value of $35.6 million. In other words, it would be a very high-value deal for Detroit, especially if Hendrickson continues to perform at an all-pro level, which, let's face it, is highly likely. In short, the Lions are in a privileged position. They have the need, they have the cap space, and now they have an offer that pleases whoever is on the other side of the negotiation. The question that remains is, will Brad Holmes pull the trigger? Because if that happens, Detroit not only gains an elite pass rusher, but also sends a clear message to the entire NFC. We are ready to win. Now, an interesting name that could appear on the Detroit Lions' radar is Brian Burns, current pass rusher for the New York Giants. He will be eligible for the market if he is not tagged again or extended, and considering the aggressive style of the Lions front office, especially if the Trey Hendrickson trade does not move forward, Burns could be an explosive alternative. He combines youth, explosiveness on the edge, and still has room for growth. Just imagine a defensive front with Aiden Hutchinson on one side and Brian Burns on the other. It would be a nightmare for any NFL quarterback. Now I want to hear from you. If the Hendrickson trade does not happen, do you think the Lions should focus on Brian Burns in the next free agency? Leave your opinion here in the comments. Would it be a master move to wait for Burns, or is it time to act now and bring Hendrickson at any cost? In my opinion, the ideal would be to sign Hendrickson now and pave the way for, who knows, building one of the best pass rushes in the league in 2025. But what do you think? Don't forget to like this content. If you enjoyed it, it really helps the channel to continue bringing you hot updates on the Detroit Lions and analysis like this. And of course, subscribe so you don't miss any news, because the next move could happen at any moment, and we'll be here to analyze it all with you. Thanks, and see you next time.